What if your child cried every time she had to visit her other parent? Screamed, begged, clung to you? Not because she missed you, but because she feared for her life. And what if every time you tried to protect her, the system ignored you? Before we begin, our hearts go out to the family and loved ones of Lily Lynette Furneaux-Wolfenbarger. This story is deeply painful, and we tell it not to sensationalize tragedy, but to honor Lily's memory and shine a light on the systems that failed her. Viewer discretion is advised. This is the story of a 2-year-old girl whose eyes lit up every room, whose smile was as pure as the morning sun, and whose life was stolen in the most brutal, senseless way imaginable. Her name was Lily Lynette Furneaux-Wolfenbarger, and this is the horrifying truth behind her murder. This is True Crime Diaries, where we bring you raw, real, and heartbreaking stories that deserve to be heard. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it to spread awareness. Drop a comment below if you believe stories like Lily's need to be told louder. Now, let's get into it. Lily Lynette was born on May 14, 2008, in Lapeer County, Michigan, to Lauren Furneaux and Jeffrey Wolfenbarger. She was radiant. Her mother called her a little beam of sunshine, one of those children who seemed to make everyone around her better simply by being herself. With her big brown eyes and an infectious laugh, Lily brought joy into the lives of those who knew her. Her parents, however, were not on good terms. By the time Lily was born, Lauren and Jeff's relationship had already ended, and like many broken relationships involving children, the love between the parents turned into a brutal legal war, one that would ultimately cost Lily her life. The custody battle began almost immediately. And the courtroom where it all took place, that would be Lapeer County's family court, presided over by Judge Michael Higgins. This judge, this one man, would go on to become one of the most controversial figures in the entire story. Lauren fought with everything she had to keep her daughter safe. She told the court she was concerned about the man she had once loved. She expressed fears. She explained her reservations. But it didn't matter, because Judge Higgins didn't listen. Judge Higgins was blunt, dismissive, and reportedly disrespectful toward Lauren from the start. Lauren later recalled how he would make her feel as though she was an unfit mother simply because she was single. According to court records and Lauren's own words, the judge once told her that, "If you want to raise a child without a father, you should have adopted." That kind of remark stuck. Higgins didn't seem to care that Lauren was in school trying to better her life for her daughter. Instead, he mocked her, telling her to drop out and get a job at McDonald's. He called her obsessed with her daughter. He scoffed at her concerns, and when she tried to explain the dangers she feared, he looked the other way. Now here's where the story begins to tilt toward tragedy. Just 9 days before the first custody hearing, Jeff married his new girlfriend, Renee King, a woman with 3 children of her own. And somehow, this rushed marriage gave him a new image in the eyes of the court. To Judge Higgins, Jeff was suddenly the more stable parent. He had a wife, a complete home. He looked the part. So despite the advice of expert witnesses who testified that constantly shuttling a young child between 2 homes could be damaging to development, the judge awarded 50-50 custody. Every week, Lily would spend Monday through Thursday evening with Jeff and Renee, and every 3rd weekend she'd stay over again. Lauren was devastated, but she had no choice but to comply. At first, things seemed manageable. Lily was adjusting, Lauren kept close tabs, and although the situation wasn't ideal, there were no immediate red flags. But slowly, subtly, things began to shift. Lily began returning from her visits with bruises, scratches, burn marks, little injuries that didn't seem to match the usual tumbles of toddler life. In April 2010, things turned darker. Lily came home with what looked like a cigarette burn on the back of her neck. Lauren was horrified. Both Jeff and Renee were smokers. When she confronted Jeff, he brushed it off. "It was an ember," he said. "It came from the fire. Got caught in her jacket, that's all." Lauren wanted to believe him. But something inside her shifted. Something no mother can ignore. She documented the injury, photographed it, dated it, and tucked the evidence away. Because somewhere deep down, she knew this might not be the last time. And she was right. After the cigarette burn, Lauren became hypervigilant. Each time Lily returned from her father's house, Lauren examined her from head to toe. And almost every time, there was something. A scrape, a bruise, a cut that couldn't be explained. Some marks looked old, some fresh. But none of them felt like accidents. Lily was only 2 years old. But even at that tender age, her behavior began to change. She started to cling to her mother before visits, cry, beg not to go. She would say she was scared without fully being able to say why. She didn't have the vocabulary to explain everything, but her body language told the story loud and clear. And it was heartbreaking. Lauren began keeping a detailed journal. Dates, photos, injuries, behaviors, a growing archive of silent screams no one seemed to hear. Then came the black eye. When Lily returned with a swollen bruise circling one eye, Lauren confronted Jeff immediately. What happened to her eye? Jeff's reply was almost comically casual. She fell in the bathroom, hit the sink or something. Renee was with her. It was just an accident. But it didn't make sense. Lauren knew toddlers could be clumsy. But this was different. The injuries were too frequent, too varied, and they never happened under her care. Still, Jeff brushed it off. Renee brushed it off. And once again, Lauren was stuck, documenting, hoping, trying to find a way to act without putting her custody at risk. Because the truth was, she was terrified of going back to court. Lauren had already seen how Judge Higgins treated her. Disrespect, dismissiveness, personal bias against her simply because she was a single mother. She feared that if she tried to push for full custody, he might retaliate. He might take Lily away entirely. And that fear, it paralyzed her. Even when she showed her attorney the photos and injury log, she was warned. Don't go back. The judge could revoke your rights entirely. So Lauren stayed quiet. Not because she wanted to, but because she thought it was the only way to stay in her daughter's life. But the signs were growing louder, and her little girl was growing more afraid. Lily had started saying things that chilled Lauren to her core, simple sentences that hinted at something darker. And Lauren noticed something else. Lily seemed coached. After one particular visit, Lily came home with yet another black eye. Jeff's parents had dropped her off, and when Lauren confronted them in anger, they calmly explained, "Renee fell on her. Her hip gave out. It was just an accident." But then Lauren asked Lily directly, "What happened to your face, baby?" And the 2-year-old replied, "Renee fell on me. In the Sprint store." Sprint? A toddler knowing the name of a mobile store? Lauren instantly suspected someone had told her what to say, coached her, trained her to lie. That night, Lauren's mother called every Sprint store in the area, asking if they had any reports of someone getting injured inside. None had any record of it. The lies were piling up, and time was running out. Renee King, the stepmother in this story, was not just neglectful. She was unstable. Back in March 2010, Renee had complained of back pain. Doctors found she had a bulging disc and prescribed her powerful opioids for pain management. But instead of managing her pain responsibly, Renee became addicted. Heavily addicted. She was now often high while caring for Lily and her own kids. Lauren believed Renee harbored a deep resentment toward Lily. This wasn't her biological child. This wasn't her baby. Lily became the scapegoat, the target for her rage. When Lily had an accident, when she cried too much, when she talked back like a toddler does, Renee snapped. And Jeff? He wasn't home. He worked long hours. Lily was left with Renee almost every time she visited. And when Jeff did come home, he turned a blind eye. He ignored Lauren's concerns, ignored Lily's cries, ignored every single red flag that pointed to abuse in his own home. By November 2010, Lily's injuries had escalated. She came home one Thursday evening with bruises down her back, on her arms, and around her ribs. It was the worst Lauren had ever seen. That night, Lauren called Renee directly. "What happened to Lily this time?" Renee casually repeated the same excuse. "She fell." "Maybe we should talk. I think we need to rework the custody. This arrangement isn't working." Lauren was done. This was it. She decided then and there that no matter what Judge Higgins said, no matter what her attorney advised, she was going back to court. She was going to fight. She was going to get Lily away from that house. Her plan was simple. Take Lily to the doctor Monday morning, get a full medical evaluation, present the findings in court. But fate had other plans, because the very next day was the third weekend of November, which meant it was Jeff's weekend. And Lauren, forced by the court agreement, had to send Lily back one more time. That Saturday morning, November 20th, 2010, Lily woke up early. She had breakfast with her grandfather, Lucky Charms, her favorite. Her grandparents, Lynette and Frederick, were part of the morning routine, as Lauren and Lily were living with them at the time. But as soon as Lauren told Lily it was time to get ready to go to her dad's, she broke down. "She clung to me," Lauren later said. "She cried like her soul knew something bad was about to happen." Lauren's father drove them to the meeting spot. It was different from the usual place. Jeff had insisted on a new location. And as soon as Lily saw her father, her cries got louder. Lauren tried to soothe her. "It's just one day, baby. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. I promise." Then Jeff looked at Lily and said awkwardly, "Give your mama one more hug." That was the last time Lauren saw her daughter alive. It was around 3 p.m. on the same day, November 20th, 2010. Lauren was at Walmart just trying to stay busy. Her mother, Lynette, had sent her a photo of a large stocking she planned to fill for Lily, and Lauren was out picking up extra gifts to stuff inside. Christmas was just weeks away. Then her phone rang. Jeff's name flashed on the screen. Lauren answered immediately, her heart pounding. "There's been an accident," Jeff said coldly. "You need to get to McLaren Hospital fast." No explanation, no details, just those words. Lauren froze. Her mind spiraled. Was it a broken bone? A cut? A concussion? She tried to press him. "What happened? Is she okay?" Jeff said. Renee fell on her in the shower. Then he hung up. Lauren left her shopping cart in the middle of the aisle, sprinted out of the store, and jumped into her car. But it was rush hour. She kept getting stuck in traffic. Every moment crawling forward felt like a lifetime. She called Jeff again. He picked up, briefly. "I'm trying to get there," Lauren said. "Where is she? Is she okay?" Jeff, "They're working on her. Just get here." Every time she called again, he repeated the same line. "Just get here." Then, hung up. That's when she made a different call. She dialed McLaren Hospital herself. "My name is Lauren Furneaux. I was told my daughter is there. Lily Furneaux. Please tell me what's going on." The nurse on the other end paused, then said gently, "Ma'am, you need to get here right away. The doctors have been working on her for over an hour. She doesn't have a pulse." Are you feeling the weight of this case like we are? If this story is hitting you hard, take a second to like this video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share it so more people hear Lily's voice. And if you want more true crime stories that expose the dark truths behind the headlines, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you never miss one. Lauren finally pulled into the hospital parking lot and bolted out of the car. The first person she saw? Jeff, standing outside the ER doors, smoking a cigarette. No urgency, no tears, just standing. She ran up to him. "Is Lily okay?" Jeff looked at her blankly. "Number, she's not." "Is she alive?" A pause. Then, "No, she's not." That moment broke Lauren. She sprinted into the hospital where staff led her into a private waiting room. Jeff's parents were already there. Everyone sat in eerie silence. Then a doctor entered the room. "I'm so sorry. We did everything we could. But Lily didn't make it." Just like that, Lauren's world collapsed. Her 2-year-old daughter, her best friend, her sunshine, her reason for breathing, was gone. What the doctors discovered during their examination was far worse than anyone expected. Lily hadn't just fallen, she had been beaten, brutally. She suffered approximately 20 blunt force injuries to her head, mostly concentrated on the back of her skull. The pattern and severity of the trauma left no room for doubt. It was intentional, it was rage-fueled, it was murder. Doctors also discovered signs of sexual assault using a foreign object. Evidence suggested it had occurred shortly before Lily's death. When Lauren was informed of this, her legs gave out. "Did she fall?" she whispered to a nurse. The nurse shook her head. This wasn't an accident. And it was clear. Renee King, the stepmother, had done this. Police arrived at the hospital not long after Lily's death was confirmed. After reviewing the extent of Lily's injuries, the medical evidence, and Jeff's statements, it didn't take long to figure out what happened. Renee King was arrested that same day, charged with first-degree felony murder, first-degree child abuse, and first-degree criminal sexual conduct. She initially claimed that she had simply fallen on Lily during a shower because her back gave out. But the evidence was overwhelming and damning. Investigators believed the real trigger was this. Lily had a bathroom accident. She didn't make it to the toilet in time. Renee, already high and irritable, snapped. She beat Lily so viciously that her small body couldn't take it. She likely died shortly after the final blow to her skull. Then, instead of calling for help immediately, Renee waited. She cleaned up the scene, she washed herself off, and then, only then, did she call Jeff, who rushed home and called Lauren. The damage had already been done. As the news spread, shockwaves hit the community. This wasn't just a tragic accident, it was a systemic failure, one that began in a courtroom. Lauren had tried to warn them. She had documentation. She had photos. She had the behavior changes. She had everything except a system that would believe her. And now, her child was dead. It was too late. Chief Trial Attorney Therese Tobin, during closing arguments, said 2-year-olds aren't easy. They cry, they have tantrums, they make messes. But the price Lily paid for that was her life. Renee said she loved Lily like her own. It was just a tragic accident. Lauren, in an interview, said, "She begged me not to go that day. She cried. I told her I'd see her tomorrow, and now there's no tomorrow." Lauren later revealed that before Lily's death, she had planned to file for full custody that Monday. She had been documenting everything. She had finally reached the point where she was willing to risk it all. But that one day's delay was all it took. Lily never made it to Monday. The system had failed her again and again, through an unresponsive judge, through an attorney who discouraged action, and through institutions that waited until after a child's death to act. The warning signs were always there, but no one listened. In the weeks following Lily's murder, the county prepared for one of the most emotionally charged trials in its history. Renee King, age 29, stood charged with felony murder, first-degree child abuse, first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and the evidence, it was overwhelming. Still, Renee maintained her innocence. She told police that her back had given out in the shower, causing her to fall on Lily, not once, but twice. That's what she claimed led to the severe trauma to Lily's head. But prosecutors and medical experts weren't buying it. Multiple pediatric trauma experts testified. They told the court that Lily's head injuries were not consistent with a fall. The repeated trauma indicated deliberate, forceful blows. The sexual assault injuries were recent and severe, further discrediting the accident narrative. The prosecutor, Chief Trial Attorney Therese Tobin, was blunt and direct with the jury. This was not an accident. This was rage. This was targeted. This was murder. Tobin walked the jury through each injury, each excuse, and each piece of damning evidence. She told them how Lily had been treated as a burden in Renee's home. Renee King resented this child. She didn't love her. She didn't protect her. She punished her. And on November 20th, she killed her. Renee's defense team attempted to humanize her. They argued that she was overwhelmed with pain due to her back issues. She loved Lily as one of her own. What happened was a terrible accident, not a crime. They told the jury that Renee cried every day in jail and regretted everything that had happened, and in a move that stunned everyone. Renee King asked to attend Lily's funeral. The same woman who beat, abused, and sexually assaulted this child had the audacity to ask the court for permission to stand at her gravesite. She was denied.
To see my kids and my husband and be there with them through this hard time tomorrow. It's my stepdaughter's burial and I don't even get to be there, and I'm accused of doing something that I never would have done.
At the sentencing hearing, Lauren was given the chance to confront Renee King directly. She stood in court, visibly trembling, and stared down the woman who took her daughter's life. Her words were raw and unforgettable. "I'll never see Lily's first day of school. I'll never help her get ready for prom. I'll never walk her down the aisle. I'll never meet her children, and neither will you. You took my world from me that day, and while I may find joy again, you will rot in prison for the rest of your life." The courtroom was silent. Tears rolled down the faces of jurors. Even the judge appeared shaken. But Lauren wasn't done. She looked at Renee and said, "You sat in front of a camera crying about jail being too hard. Just wait. You've got a lifetime ahead of you. You deserve every second of it." After only a few hours of deliberation, the jury returned. Guilty on all counts. Renee King was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. There would be no appeals, no second chances. Justice, at least a portion of it, had finally come for Lily. But there was another figure the public hadn't forgotten, Judge Michael Higgins. The same judge who had dismissed Lauren's concerns, belittled her for being a single mom, ignored warning signs and evidence of abuse, created the very custody structure that put Lily in Renee's care. Now, hundreds of protesters lined the streets outside the Lapeer County Courthouse demanding his resignation. Signs read, "Judges should protect children, not endanger them. Higgins' law equal to deadly law. Lily's blood is on your robe." And while the judge issued a statement defending his actions, public sentiment was clear. They blamed him too. Lauren filed a 3-page formal complaint against him, detailing his bias, misconduct, and blatant disregard for her daughter's safety. But removing a sitting judge, it's rare, nearly impossible. Unless impeached by the state legislature or voted out in an election, judges often stay in power, even after catastrophic decisions. Still, the pressure mounted. For the first time, people in Lapeer County began asking, how many more Lilies have there been? The pacing of Lily's story is like a slow-burning fuse. From the moment she came home with her first injury, to the lies about accidents, to the black eyes, the bruises, the burns, to the chilling moment where she clung to her mother and begged not to go. Everything was pointing to one terrible, inevitable end. And yet, no one listened. That's the horror of it. This wasn't one random act of violence. It was a series of preventable failures by the court, by Jeff, by the legal system meant to protect her. And all it took was one weekend too many for Lily's light to be snuffed out. After Renee King was taken away in handcuffs and the courtroom cleared out, Lauren returned home. But everything was different. She pulled into the driveway, stepped out of the car, and walked toward the front door, only to collapse onto the hood, frozen. She couldn't go in. "I couldn't walk through the door knowing Lily wouldn't be there," Lauren said. That house was no longer a home. It was just walls. Inside were Lily's toys, her tiny shoes, her laughter still echoing in Lauren's memory. But no Lily. The silence was unbearable. Lauren didn't disappear after the trial. She didn't retreat into grief forever. She did something most parents in her position never have the strength to do. She fought. She launched the Justice for Lily Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to educating parents on the signs of abuse, supporting families navigating custody battles, holding judges and legal systems accountable. She began sharing Lily's story publicly, speaking at forums, podcasts, conferences, anywhere someone would listen. And people did listen. Lauren raised over $35,000 in Lily's name, directing the funds to organizations helping foster children, single mothers, and survivors of abuse. Out of Lily's tragedy came hope for others. Lauren organized the annual Lily Ball, a gala event that raises awareness about child abuse, trains adults to spot danger signs, funds care packages for foster kids. She also launched Angel Lily Christmas, a yearly drive that ensures every foster child in Michigan receives personalized holiday gifts, more than what the state usually provides. Through her website and Facebook page, Justice for Lily, Lauren posts educational content, survivor stories, tributes from family, friends, and supporters across the country. She turned a funeral into a movement. Lily wasn't just a statistic. She was a vibrant child who adored music, especially the show Glee. She would sing, dance, and laugh in front of the TV, mimicking the routines. She loved going to church with her mom and grandparents. She had a sweet tooth for Lucky Charms and loved cuddling in the mornings. Everyone who met her said the same thing. That little girl had a light in her. A light that was dimmed by cruelty, but one her mother is determined to keep burning. Following the outcry, Judge Michael Higgins issued a public statement. "We sympathize with the family, but the court had no request to revisit custody since 2008. We acted within the law." But the community didn't accept that. Dozens of families, many who had similar experiences, rallied outside the courthouse. Many held signs calling for his resignation. "He may not have raised the hand that killed Lily," one protester said, "but he handed her to the person who did." The system had failed her, and for once people weren't going to forget. Lily Lynette Furneaux-Wolfenbarger was 2 years old. 2. She had her whole life ahead of her. And yet, it was stolen. Not just by the woman who beat her, but by every adult who ignored the signs. She cried before every visit. She begged not to go. Her mom documented everything, and the system turned its back. "Evil did this," Lauren wrote on the Justice for Lily site. "Not God, not fate, evil." And so now, we ask you, how many Lilies will it take? How many children have to die before we believe mothers like Lauren? How many bruises need to be dismissed before we call it abuse? How many judges, lawyers, and fathers will walk away from responsibility? You decide. because Lily didn't get another chance. But her story? It just might save someone else's. If this story broke your heart, don't just sit with it, share it. Subscribe to our channel for more stories that must be told. Let Lily's legacy live on. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and always look a little deeper. This is True Crime Diaries, where every story has a pulse.
Happy